Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 836, Forge in a New Light, recorded live on October 6th, 2022. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Duststorm.
I'm your other co-host, Godzilla T.
And we are back with another Forge video showcasing the power of the Slipspace engine and showing off some new cool things to do in Forge once we get our hands on it here in a few weeks. Really exciting stuff. We had bots the last time that we talked, and we've got lighting and audio. Not quite as exciting as the whole bots and scripting stuff, but still pretty impressive, some of the new stuff that we're able to do with the Slipspace engine. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We briefly talked about some of the ongoing rumors in the community. We're not going to really touch on it too much in the podcast today because we actually want to try to get some folks on from the modding community who have worked with the Unreal Engine before and kind of have a discussion of what the pros and cons are from sticking with the blam kind of guts of what Halo's been built on since its inception to what UE might be able to provide, what's the pros and cons, what things would be lacking or not possible to do. So we're looking to see if we can get a roundtable type discussion going to actually dig into more what's the technological benefits of both and what makes sense for Halo in the long term, which I think will be a good discussion. But as we normally do, we have our little Podtacular community update to go through. So while I pull up some of the little community postings in the Discord, since there actually have been quite a few recently, GT, how did Fraggin' Friday go last week?
Fraggin' Friday actually went well. Certain people had better nights than others, as posted in our community chat.
Yeah.
But no, all in all, it was a pretty good night. Had a lot of fun. We got in some big team, did some of the 4v4 Fiesta. I finished up my enchantment pass, or in whatever. The special event pass.
Oh,
I finished that. Still got a ways to go on my battle pass. I really ought to get on that. Just been too exhausted after work to play. I make it to my couch and I just sit there all night. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. If anybody says Infinite's not fun, I don't know what the game they're playing. Because it sure as hell ain't Infinite.
There's certain parts for me where it feels a lot of the different pieces with playing with the few folks I normally play with and just getting, it feels like hammered every time I'm in those games because of how True Skill works. That kind of sucks. But whenever I'm playing by myself, I typically do have fun playing Halo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of in a weird spot.
Most of my frustrations are self-induced. I'll just put it that way.
Got it.
As we like to say, if you would like to learn how not to play Halo, tune into Fraggin' Friday every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch.
There you go.
And I will show you all the ways not to play Halo.
And Liquid Phantom, I agree. GT's beard is looking pretty swag. So.
Yeah, she's getting a little ragged. I'm going to have to trim it here pretty soon.
If you just wait for No Shave November, then you can really see how it goes.
This is 3 months.
Oh. So, I mean, you wait through November, you see how it gets in 5 months. Anyways. Well, very good. Glad everything was fun. As for me, I actually decided to sit down and rank in Halo Infinite, which not surprising in my rank, but I got gold 4, which is kind of where I thought I would be in the range of.
Yeah.
I'm questioning the true skill system a little bit though, because I lost 7 games out of my 10 placement matches, and all but 1 were complete wipeouts. So I don't know if that's just because there's not a lot of people at the level that I'm playing at, so it was just throwing me in like wildly different directions as far as trying to figure out where skill was, or
Well, I
I
think this. I think the true skill also, when it sets your rank, it takes into account who you're playing against.
sure,
You know what
but
level of
it's
player you're playing against, as well as wins, losses, your performance in the game.
yeah. Had one game that was close, two games that I won that were just hand me downs,
Yeah.
and then the other ones that I lost were we got completely shut out.
Mm-hmm.
And like a few times I checked what the other players were, and they were plats by and large.
Yeah.
Penn said he ended up gold 1. Not too bad.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember where I ranked.
Well,
Ever after I ranked, I never looked at it again. I don't think.
well, thanks to the new update to the stats page on Halo Waypoint, you can go check now.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that's a nice little new thing. We'll get to that in a little bit. Bobby posted a screenshot of a 42-0 death game.
Achieved during Fraggin' Fridays.
He finally got his perfection. Or not
Multiples.
perfection. Is it perfection for 0 deaths?
Perfection is 15 kills with no deaths.
Yeah. So he finally got his perfection. And I didn't realize there were other tiers. Looking at a screenshot now, he got demon, kill 40 enemies without dying. So in addition to the perfection, he got that. That is crazy. Oh, you didn't get perfection because you didn't win the match. Oh, that's too bad. Well, still 42-0. I could never do that.
Not in regular PvP, no. Firefight, yeah.
Well,
Not
okay.
in PvP.
Talking PvP here, but yeah. But yeah, congratulations, Bobby, on that accomplishment. That's very impressive, and I will never be able to do that. Keith has been posting some videos as well. He's been doing a little bit of a mix between some of his gameplay and some commentary as well, so you can go check that out if you went over on his Halo or his YouTube channel. Pins has been playing some Halo on his Twitch stream as well. Pins Halo on Twitch if you are interested. And that's mostly what we got for the community this week.
And maybe one of these days I'll start streaming on my own channel again.
I will once the basement's finally done. They weren't here this week, so I actually haven't had a chance to move my desk back out yet. But I think they still have a coat of paint, and they just notified us today that the inspections is supposed to be next Tuesday, and that the electricians will be here. So hopefully most of the stuff will be done next week. After, gosh, how many months at this point? Almost 20 months? More than 20 months at this point that they've been working on this job. So yeah, it'll be nice to be done. We are looking forward to celebrate by having people over. Anyways, so let's move on to some of the Halo news. Since we alluded to it already, might as well talk about the new updates that have come into Halo Waypoint, both on the website and in the mobile app. You can now view your game history and post-game carnage reports for all of your played games on Infinite, even all the way back to November 15th of last year.
Woohoo!
Yep. So you can now go and see all your nitty-gritty details of every single match that you've played, which is nice to see, finally.
I don't know that I want to look at all that. It might be really depressing.
I mean, for some people, they probably want to. I know there's a lot of folks out there that really focus on stats, and for tournaments, it's going to be pretty huge. I know for competitive, it's one of those things that you go and compare against other players that you're playing against. So it's definitely going to be a useful tool for a lot of people. Being able to actually see your match history has been a thing of Halo stats ever since Halo 2. But even being able to see the post-game carnage report, being able to see that level of detail for every match that you've ever played in matchmaking, that's something that we haven't had before. So that's pretty cool. I'm still waiting for them to actually release a full set of stats, not their little stats overview thing that doesn't really contain everything that we're accustomed to. But
apparently in ranked, I placed it gold 6.
So you're technically better than me. 1v1 me, bro.
Okay.
So lots of cool additions for stats. Hopefully they add more. I know there's a big push to get an API out there as well. So we'll see what happens. But for anyone that's curious about any matches in post-game content report, you've got it at your fingertips now.
Well, let me preface that Gold 6. I did that like the first month Infinite was out. When the population was huge.
Right, where there were more players playing.
So I will tell you that of my 10 placement matches, I'd lost 2. And I think one other one was close. I think within 5 to 10 kills.
Okay. That's not bad.
So, yeah, I got lucky. Now, I doubt I could do it again.
You may surprise yourself.
And I know what my luck is with Halo's matchmaking systems. It's generally not that good.
In addition to that, we've got a few other little things. Griffball has returned to MCC this week.
Griffball. Play ball.
Play ball. I think I mentioned this on the podcast, but I'm not sure if I did. But the new exchange that they implemented in MCC, where they had the poses on the bottom, thankfully those are kind of there as permanent place items that you can unlock at any point. So I was happy to see that those were still there for the ones I didn't get.
Nice.
So it's the top row that changes and the bottom row is still there. So I'll get to unlock everything else this week, which will be nice. So if anyone else had that question, now you've got your answer. There's a tease that was put out for a Halo gaming chair in partnership with Hawthorne, which is a brand I have never heard of before, but apparently they make some rather expensive chairs, at least in comparison to some of the other gaming chairs. It looks like they're kind of expensive, but it's going to be all Spartan Green themed, have Halo stuff all over it. So if you're a collector of Halo things or are possibly looking for a gaming chair and you've got the money for it, then the Hawthorne Cross Halo thing is dropping in 6 days. We've got quite a few things happening with Halo Worlds coming in 2 weeks, believe it or not. Unfortunately, my community panel got pulled in favor of some other things, so I will not be doing my game show at Worlds. But there's going to be 343 dev panels, Halo cosplay, special guest signings, and games and giveaways. Sadly, mine's not one of those games and giveaways. But we've also got Jen Taylor and Steve Downs going to Worlds, so they will be there for some signings and probably some other panels. If you are going or have been interested in going and want to go, definitely recommend it. It sounds like they're kind of doing a mini Halo Fest type thing as far as the community stage at Worlds, which will be pretty cool. I'm good with my chair pins too, because it actually supports my weight and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the specs on this chair.
They haven't released it yet. It comes out in 6 days.
Well, I figured they'd have
something similar
specifications on the chair.
Oh no, that's not dropping for another 6 days. They teased it, and the announcement drop is in 6 days on the 12th.
Honestly, I'm kind of not impressed with the look of the chair.
Well, they haven't given the full look yet. They've just had the one little. Where
they have on their website. They have a 360-degree view.
Really?
Pins dropped the link in the chat.
I thought they just had the tease. Because I went to the link and it's just a countdown.
The link that Pins posted?
No, the one that was on the Twitter.
Yeah, click on the one that Pins posted in the chat.
I see. Oh, I didn't know I didn't know this page was out there. I wonder if someone data mined this page, because I don't think it was supposed to be out there yet.
Well, seems to be an official page.
No, I mean it's from the site. It's an official page. Don't think they meant to be public yet, but yeah, it's there. I mean, it's kind of basic for the most part. I wonder what the price on it's going to be.
Yeah,
and how it compares to other gaming chairs. You know, there's people that's going to buy it though.
Well, yeah, there's people going to buy it. I mean, I might consider it if it is rated for my girth.
Right.
And if it is, it better last more than 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on coming up with the pieces to reconstruct my other chair. Because I just really don't feel like dumping another $400 into a chair that's going to break in 3 years.
Yeah. This one served me well so far, so I'm happy with it. I spent, what, 500 something on this chair?
Oh, just a little tidbit, because we were talking about Bobby and his 400 kills to nothing. After Bobby joined the game night, we went defeat, tie, victory, defeat.
It's a pretty good spread.
The sad thing is the one game that we won was stockpile.
And
stockpile. We're pretty sure the other team had no idea what they were doing.
That's unfortunate. Stockpile, I don't know if it's the maps or...
For me, it's...
just the mode is flawed.
I think it's the mechanics of the mode.
Yeah, something just feels
it just
weird
always,
about that game mode.
I know. Reach had stockpile, but it was flags, and I actually enjoyed that one. I mean, this is pretty much the same thing. I just wonder if the problem I have with it is the fact that it's been moved into big team, where in Reach it was still in arena.
It was 4v4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Could be onto something there.
Oh,
we got a new piece of intel for the Fractures event from last week. Going over to halowaypoint.com/halo-infinite #intel. We got another entry for week 5. We'll have one more for week 6. It's kind of just the ongoing story that's been in the multiplayer part of Halo Infinite. And we also have the Forge stuff. That's the last big thing to talk about tonight. So the latest Forge video was on lighting and audio. The big thing being how dynamic lighting gets implemented now within the engine. And the fact that there's now like dynamic shadows. You can specify what casts a dynamic shadow or what's static or what's baked in, which helps lower the resources that the engine needs for certain pieces, but then also cast shadows for other things. So I see the potential for lighting to be used heavily in Machinima.
Well, I see it being heavily used for maps.
I mean, maps,
regular game. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. They've tried to do that a lot, in previous Forges, but one of the big drawbacks is the way they generated the light. You couldn't have a dark map, like a pitch black map.
Yep. And now you can.
Now you can. And it doesn't affect the Spartan armor. I mean, it does affect the Spartan armor. So if you have no light source,
you are black.
You are black. You cannot be seen. Except for what was really cool is, I forget which helmet they had on. The breathing effect coming out of the helmet still...
It has little light emitters on it, yeah.
You could see it. Oh, that was kind of full. Kind of cool.
So it is actual, like, dynamic engine lighting going on in Forge, and you can customize that however you want. And there's also metal pieces that they, like, as you generate lighting, it will take a snapshot and reflect those images on.
The way I understood it, you had to add basically an orb that takes a photo or takes a picture of the surrounding area and applies it to the metal objects.
Well, that orb was just for demonstration purposes. It's basically any metallic surface takes that snapshot and then kind of
they
does it.
Turned it on and off.
Right. They just use the orb for demonstration. Or are you talking about the little orbs?
No, I'm talking about the big orb they had sitting right next to those hexagon columns.
I thought they just had that in there for a demonstration purpose.
that they said projects the image onto the metal surfaces to give you realistic lighting.
I may have misheard that part.
At least
but
that's the way I heard it.
Okay.
Anyway, it does a really good job of making these reflective surfaces fit the map and not just, stand out.
You can change the time of day. Mm-hmm. You can change so many different parts of the sky as far as the color.
Pink sun.
Yep, you can have a pink sun. You can have, you still got control over ambient lights, spotlights, diffusing light, fog type lights. Like there's a lot of different types of like lighting effects that you'd be able to use in a like building engine or like a 3D engine. You've basically got access to those tools within Forge now.
I think
we're going to see some of the best maps in this Forge.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Now, granted, I'm not a forger. I'm not a map designer. I don't mod games. I don't know how much closer that they could get to having actual dev tools.
This is pretty freaking close.
Because, I mean, from what they've shown so far, I can't think of anything, me personally, I cannot think of anything else a forger would need to make a map other than a completely blank canvas with nothing in it.
I mean, they're the maps that they are releasing in the next 2 seasons were made in Forge.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're basically Forge equivalent tools that they have a few more features that they can work with, but it's essentially Forge.
Well, no, they said the two smaller maps, the 4v4 maps,
those
they were built in Forge.
Yep.
In the same version of Forge that we're going to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
With the same set of tools, which is absolutely amazing.
I mean, it's like they're basically giving us the tools that they are using to build maps. Now, I can see them going in, like, if they need to create a big team map that has a landscape piece that they don't want to, like, okay, all right, we're going to make the pieces of that and then maybe do the rest in Forge or something like that.
What they've done is made it really tough to determine what's a dev map and what's a Forge map. In the past, it's always been very obvious what was forged and what's a dev map. I don't think you're going to be able to tell anymore.
I think the only way you'd be able to tell is the terrain would be the only probably distinguishing factor.
With scaling, you may not.
Well, they're only going to have they're going to only have so many pieces with different shapes, and scaling can help, but there will be shapes that are going to be done in a actual map editor versus what you can do and contort with.
Yeah, like I said,
but that's like the only thing other than
I think with
terrain.
All the other effects that they have in the toolkit, I think there's enough variety there that you won't notice the terrain pieces unless you actually go into Forge and start looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
I think just playing the map, I don't think you're going to see them.
We'll see. But yeah, at least for Arena, anything that's going to be made for Arena is going to be, you won't tell the difference, honestly, between a dev-made map and community map. 1, because they're actually using Forge for those maps. And 2, even if they weren't, the engine's powerful enough where maybe the only things that they're really doing on, like, out of Forge would be skybox and custom terrain.
Yeah, the base canvas.
Like that would probably, that's really the only things they would need a map editor for is skybox and base terrain. And if they want to do custom audio sounds for different pieces or whatnot. But other than that, all the other essentials that you need for a map will be available in Forge. And now we've got so many options for audio too. Audio emitters emitting in a certain direction, emitting in the volume, emitting based on triggers, using script brains and whatnot. Actually having the power of the engine, so the audio is just not single sourced, but it actually interacts with the environment. So if the audio is emitting from another side of a wall, it actually sounds like it's from another side of the wall and not just kind of you're actually that far away from it, so you hear it virtually in the game. So all that's accounted for now from an audio perspective.
Too bad you can't make a whoopee cushion.
It does. I mean, the downside to audio is you're stuck with what they give you.
Yeah. You won't be able to upload custom sounds.
Right.
Which, who knows, it may come.
I mean, depending on what modding tools come in, or I mean, there could be a community sound library that gets approved. We'll see. I think we hit on all the high points as far as the new Forge stuff goes. We get one more. We'll have one more Forge look before it comes out. It'll be file sharing and canvases. So basically, how do you share your maps that you're making, and how do you utilize the different canvases? How do you make prefabs and whatnot?
I hope they go into how the files will be sorted in the game. I imagine they'll probably use the bookmark system again. I don't see why they wouldn't. But I'll be really interested to see how you find the files. And I hope they show it, because that's what's really important to me.
I would imagine they would.
The two things I'm looking for that one is the sort, if there is one, and then how easily you can make those maps accessible to people. Like, will I be able to browse Halo Waypoint and bookmark them? Will I be able to, if I see something interesting, can they, will it be the ability to add a link to, say, a YouTube video showing the map, stuff like that?
Don't recall them doing anything kind of advanced like that.
Like I said, there's just things.
It's been a while since I've accessed the Forge build. Honestly, it's been a long time.
Well, the key word there is build. It's not a final.
Yeah, they make build updates to that all the time. Obviously, I can't say really anything about it right now, but there are certainly some there are some features there that will help as far as finding maps and things like that.
Honestly, the stuff that I'm most curious about really have nothing to do with Forge. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
Forge is important, but
how you actually get them for custom nights and
my biggest beef with Halo 5 was just finding damn games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I'm not a fan of Halo 5's bookmark system. It really annoys me. I hope they improve on that. The fact that there is absolutely nothing to sort maps with. I mean, you basically have to look at screenshots to figure out which map you want.
I would imagine they would go over this next week, because I don't see why.
But anyway, those are the things that I'm really interested in this next video. But I will tell you this, that even though I'm not a forger, I was very impressed with the lighting and options.
Everything they've showed off so far has been very impressive with what they've been able to do with the Slipspace engine.
I mean, I hate to say this, but it does look like Forge is worth the wait, but it still should have launched with the game.
A lot of things should have been launched with the game.
Well, this
plain and simple.
This more than most.
Yeah, because honestly, Forge is kind of the life breath of the multiplayer community for Halo. Competitive runs on it. Customs. I mean, you have people that, like, ever since Halo 3, we have the crazy customs like Trash Compactor and the Bungie 500, the race stuff.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you say fat kid, I'm reaching through this TV and choking.
I mean, the thought came across my head because the community's obsessed with fat kid for some reason.
I hate fat kid.
I let the recording show. I was not the one that brought up fat kid, and I wasn't going to say it either.
I could see it rattling around in that brain of yours.
Oh, of course it came up. I wasn't going to say it. You were the one that said it.
Anyway.
But yeah, all those custom games, and like we have the vehicle Fiesta that we love, and then the Speed Halo. I love Speed. This is probably one of my favorite custom
Speed Halo
games.
To clarify.
Yes.
not the other one.
Right.
The only thing that I'm really disappointed in so far when it comes with Fiesta and even the vehicle Fiesta version is the lack of variance on the weapons. We got frickin' spoiled with Halo 5. Now, don't get me wrong. With the Forge, you'll be able to make your own variants on weapons, but
Ish.
well, like I said, you can pick a weapon, you can pick a projectile that the weapon fires.
Yeah, but the thing with the Halo 5 is the projectiles, like, if you looked at strictly the type of projectiles that were available in Halo 5, there's a whole lot more variety because you had basically 3 projectiles for every weapon.
Like I said, I'm just, you can kind of do that, but the problem is those have to be set on pickups. They can't be just random equips.
Or can they? With script brains. Or with the scripting.
Well, true. That'd be one complicated script brain, though.
No, you go like at the beginning when the game starts, you just have a random generator, and it cycles through every player in the match, and it assigns them a random weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And then when a player joins, it triggers an event, and it gives them another random weapon.
Like I said,
and same on respawn. You could do it's.
I'm not saying you can't do it.
Relatively, that's a pretty simple script.
Yeah,
I could probably go into Forge and make it in 2 hours because I haven't touched Forge in forever.
2 hours. Anyway, the point I'm making is with Halo 5's vast array of weapons that we had, Fiesta is just never going to be the same.
Yeah,
I was really hoping that
I was hoping they would have every single weapon available in multiplayer. It's Halo Infinite of all things.
Well, now they are. The campaign weapons are now in multiplayer as pickups.
No, I mean like every weapon from past Halo games, like the plasma rifle, the fuel rod, the flamethrower, the grenade launcher, the plasma launcher.
They weren't able to get all the game types in there, so I really didn't think they were going to get all the weapons in there. But I would like to see. I know they're trying to balance multiplayer, and that's all well and good. You can restrict the weapons used in multiplayer, but for custom games or fun game types like Fiesta, oh man, having the entire collection of weapons that is Halo available, that'd be so much fun. I mean, that's half the fun of, that's like 80% of the fun of Super Fiesta is what weapon am I going to get? Is it going to be total trash or am I going to be, OP?
Yeah.
Am I going to get a Norfang or a plasma pistol?
That's the crazy thing about Fiesta.
Which, just the current version of Fiesta, while it's fun, it's still fun. It's just not as much fun as Halo 5.
We are spoiled with Super Fiesta and Halo 5. Yeah. Absolutely spoiled.
I mean, I still every once in a while fire up Halo 5. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. Yep. We've got, let's see, anything else to talk about? I think that's everything. Yeah. Next week, with the next Forge stuff, I'm looking forward to seeing what they have, and I know GT's looking forward to that one. Again, with seeing how we're going to be able to share files, get files. I hope they have a file share thing where you can go to a link and download it, and all the things that they have done for MCC and Halo 5. Like, take the best of all of that and put it into this file share.
And don't limit if we can download files, no limit. I don't want to be restricted to 50 maps like MCC is, 100 maps or whatever it is. I mean, you're talking 4 games and only 100 slots. That's pretty limited.
Well, and honestly, I mean, I was thinking about this a little bit earlier.
MCC being MCC, I've just learned to live with it because if they expand that, it might break the game.
Well, so here's the thing. game types are obviously small pieces of files. They're usually less than a meg for the game types. Yeah. Maps, I get. You can have some pretty large maps, like maybe 6-7 megs, I think are kind of the largest ones that I've seen. No, I take that back. When we were doing the Halo mold, there's some maps in there that are like in the maybe 11-12 meg range.
Yeah, I think the biggest map I ever downloaded, OG Halos, I think was like 11 meg.
Yeah.
And
like,
at that time,
if you have millions of players, that's a lot of data. So like I get if you want to limit the maps storage, but game mode storage really shouldn't.
Well, that's just it. They're still storing the information.
Well, because it's a cloud service now. It's not actually.
No, you're talking about them.
Well, no, there is the download. There is the download. Yeah, for MCC, yeah, you're right. There is the on console, but that shouldn't be restricted.
Even the bookmark system, they have to keep a copy of it on their servers because what happens when the guy that built the map turns off his Xbox?
Right.
And if his Xbox isn't on when you want to play it.
No, yeah. So there's the online copy, but you're right. You should be able to just download however many maps you want to your local console.
It's not really saving them anything. It's just costing us convenience. Anyway, like I said, and I pray that they go this way, they allow us to actually download the map to our Xboxes and or PC, depending on which way you play. I hope they don't put an artificial limit on it.
Yeah. We'll find out next week.
Can't wait.
So that's going to wrap it up for the podcast tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, another little short one. We'll try to get the discussion about Unreal versus the Blam engine going at some point within the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. And then next week, we'll also be talking about the last Forge video, which will be cool. And then a few other guests that I need to get my butt moving and actually reach out to get people on for the show. So hopefully get that going at some point. But other than that, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Make sure you hop into our Discord and check out the poll for tomorrow's Fraggin' Friday. We'll hopefully see you guys there. And until next time, keep on fragging them drugs. Thank you for listening to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. You can find our podcast on your favorite podcasting service and listen to us live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Check out our website, podtacular.com, and join the community on Discord at podtacular.com/discord. If you want to play Halo with us, come join us for Fraggin' Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Become a supporter of the show by sharing the show with your friends and family. Or help keep the lights on by subscribing to us on Twitch, donating via PayPal, or becoming a patron alongside Confal, Pens Halo, and Prestige Ace. Until next time, keep on fragging trucks.